Who am I? Starting with the body, we ask, am I the skin, the hair, the muscles and bones, the organs or the blood? Am I this body? Modern science tells us that the molecules of the body are completely replaced every 7 years. If I'm not the physical element of this body, then what am I? Am I the stream of changing feelings? Am I the memory and perceptions? Am I the thoughts and concepts? The views and beliefs? Who am I? Who do I take myself to be at work, in my family, in my community? The way we answer this question can lead us to a continuous struggle, or no matter where we are, to freedom and ease. According to the classic Buddhist understanding, two mental states create the sense of self. One is called self-view, which takes some aspect of experience as I, me, or mine. The second one is compared view, which evaluates the created sense of self as better than, worse than, or equal to others. We create a sense of self whenever we identify with our body, our mind, our beliefs, our roles, our situation in life. This identification unconsciously happens over and over whenever we hold our feelings, thoughts, and perception as me or mine. We can study identification directly by examining the many roles life gives us to play. At times, for example, I can sense myself as a man, son, parent, worker, student, husband, father, teacher, taxpayer, patient, citizen, rebel, and a member of a particular tribe, ethnic group, and religion. All are roles. Each arises due to circumstances and conditions. When we are young, we feel the role of a son or daughter. When we are around our parents, we try to fulfill it and behave accordingly. But when our parents are absent and we are around our friends, our role as son or daughter drops away. For 40 hours a week, many of us had roles as workers or providers. If I keep my role as a store manager, when I come home, it is a disaster. If I try to give my wife a list of priorities and to-do list, to put it mildly, and John can testify with that, to put it mildly, she will remind me it's my turn to water the garden and do the dishes. To be wise, we need to be able to enter each role and fully, and to let go when our part is done. When we marry, we have to let go of being single. When we take a new job or leave one, retire, or change from employee to manager, we need to let one role go and take up another one. We can be free only if under all these temporary roles we do not forget that they are not who we really are. In the same way that we identify with a role, we can identify with self-image. Do I look intelligent, attractive, strong, Usually, we worry in this way because we also feel the opposite qualities in ourselves. So, to compensate, we create a self-image. Another way we create self-identity is seeing ourselves as a member of a particular ethnic group, religion, tribe, race, and class. I can identify with being a humanist. I can identify with my ethnic roots as a Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, Lebanese. Each identification is a description of a particular social structure. Sometimes tribe and ethnic descriptions are used in healthy ways to honor our culture, to value our deep connection with others like ours. But these same distinctions can be used for racist and discriminatory practices and creating enormous suffering. Ethnic, religious, and tribal identification are repeatedly exploited for power, for separating us from them. Demagogues have used this identification to stir up powerful hatred of the other. Hate mongers are successfully inflamed the feeling of one group against another. We can find many examples throughout history of horrendous wars, massacres, and ethnic cleansing. Here in the United States right now, similar fears and identification are used in the conflict between established citizens and the new immigrants of one particular ethnicity and color. As we examine our self-identity, our self-image, our tribe, our roles, we can acknowledge that they are tentative. We can learn to honor them without being completely identified and lost in them. Freedom rises when we hold them lightly, when we see them for what they really are. One of the deepest and most demanding experiences is the experience of non-self. We usually identify with our habitual ways of acting, perceiving, thinking. Our body, thoughts, feelings, and personality all seem to be us, ours. But in close examination, all these are subject to change. When we inquire carefully into the question of identity, the creation of self is discovered to be a moment-to-moment process. We can examine our experience and see how every moment is comprised of many microscopic events of feelings, perceptions, and thoughts. These events rise and pass. We notice how the sense of self is added to them as I is created. We identify with some part of our experience, owning the feelings, the beliefs, the inner narratives and stories as me and mine. As soon as this identification, the self-view arises, it creates this illusion of separateness, of I and others. The creation of self is a process can be observed moment to moment. It arises when identify with some part of our experience and call it me or mine, my body, my personality, my views, my things. We can become mindful of the creation and dissolution of the sense of self. We can see what it is like when this identification with self is strong, when it's weak, and when it's absent. When we become mindful of the comparing mind, we see how the sense of self arises when we compare ourselves with others. How does this form the self feel when it is grasped? How is it feel when it's absent? Notice what happens when you are criticized. If someone insults you, notice the strength of the sense of self. With strong identification, you get anxious, angry, upset. Without much identification, sometimes you can laugh. It's critical to note that selflessness does not deny or reject the experience in any way. We don't get rid of anything. The experiences are the same. What that has changed is that we stopped identifying with them, stopped calling them me or mine, and compared them to yours and theirs. When identification with the small sense of self drops away, what remains is the spacious space that's connected with all things. Who am I? By birth, I'm Lebanese, an Arab, a Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, Muslim. By choice, I became an immigrant, an American citizen, an atheist, a humanist. I like to think of myself as a global citizen. Thank you.